Hello again. Thank you for your feedback from my original post on the subject of systemic racism and some of the options I offer for resolution. I hope you have been able to apply some of them. Now, before I get started, I want to just excuse my dogs in case you hear them in the background. I really appreciate your feedback, and I want to use this opportunity to provide my personal insight on your feedback. I believe we're on the same page regarding the two outcomes of the American rage that you saw on your TV screens, protests and lootings. I assume from your responses that the protest was justifiable. It was the citizens' way of expressing their displeasure about the killing of George Floyd and thousands of Black lives that were prematurely terminated due to various reasons. The aspect of looting was questionable. Some of you want to disregard it and give it a silent treatment, while others vehemently oppose it. I want to provide some insight and in particular use a business approach to give you my thoughts. In companies, when there is a problem, there are various systematic ways they use to perform a deep dive, or what they term root cause analysis. A root cause analysis is an approach for identifying the underlying cause of a problem in order to arrive at the most effective solution. One of these methods is called 5 whys. You start by asking why you had the problem. Then you follow up with another why relating to the answer that you just gave until you get to the fifth why. But you could go deeper until you feel you have exhausted all the whys. Since most protesters, supporters, and many others agree on the validity of the protest, let's use 5 whys to analyze the underlying reason for the looting. I'll use a few scenarios to demonstrate my thought process. Why were there looters? Because the looters were angry. Why were the looters angry? Because they were poor. Why were they poor? Because they could not get a job, keep a job, or earn good income. Now, here I gave 3 responses. They all interrelated, but let's keep the thought process going one at a time. So I'll follow the line one at a time. So why couldn't they get a job? Because they lacked adequate skills. Why did they lack adequate skills? Because they grew up in poor neighborhoods where trainings were inadequate. Okay, so we knew that it might be training related, it might be the neighborhood related, so we can use that to solve the problem, or we can even dig further. But I'm going to stop there because we have the fifth why on that line. So let's take the other middle one. Why couldn't they keep a job? Because they were discriminated against on the job. Why were they discriminated against? Because they were minorities and they couldn't perform their jobs adequately. Okay, so if it's due to not being able to perform their jobs adequately, then we probably could solve that. If it's because they're minority, I'm not too sure what you can do. If they're minority, it's just who they are. Let's explore the income part. Why couldn't they earn a good income? Because there were pay and opportunity inequities on the job. Why are there pay and opportunity inequities on the job? Because they are minority and couldn't perform their jobs adequately. Okay, so you already understand the thought process here. If it's minority, there's not much you can do about it. It's just who they are. If it's due to their inability to perform their jobs adequately, then there's a solution to that. Okay, let me share another thought with you. This will literally blow your mind. And I think this might be the underlying issue that we have. So let's start the 5 whys again. Why were there lootings? The looters were angry. Why were the looters angry? Because of the killing of George Floyd. Now, I don't think the killing of George Floyd is sufficient because there have been many like George Floyds that were killed. Some resulted in some protests and lootings, others nothing really happened. So I want to assume that the anger was not only because of George Floyd, but I think it was plausible to include many other blacks that cannot be identified. So in response to this why, let's say why were the looters angry, then I would say because of the killing of George Floyd and many others like him that were killed. Okay, why was George Floyd and many others like him killed? Because Floyd and many others had a fake $20 bill. They were walking in the park. They were selling cigarettes in the sidewalk. Okay, let's stop right there. Let's use Floyd as an example. Trying to spend a fake $20 bill cannot be a valid reason because you don't kill people for such things. The judgment for trying to spend a fake $20 bill is definitely not death penalty. So also walking in the park or selling cigarettes. So those cannot be a valid response to the why here. What do they all have in common? I think it might be the color of their skin. Let's assume. So let's take the response to this particular why to be because they were black. Okay, why do blacks get killed for being black? Because the killers assume blacks to be criminals. Oh, even though death penalty is not the judgment for being a criminal in all instances, but let's just continue the thought process. Why do the killers assume blacks to be criminals? Because stereotypically and from history, blacks were assumed to be criminals and more. In fact, quoting from the 1798 Encyclopedia Britannica on Google Books, the word Negro was defined as follows: a name given to a variety of the human species who are entirely black, are found in the torrid zone, especially in that part of Africa which lies within the tropics. In the complexion of Negroes, we meet various shades, but they likewise differ from other men in all features of their face: round cheeks, high cheekbones, a forehead somewhat elevated, a short, broad, flat nose, thick lips, small ears, ugliness, and irregularity of shape characterize their external appearance. The Negro women have their loins greatly depressed, very large buttocks, which give the back the shape of a saddle. Vice is the most notorious sin to be the portion of this unhappy race: idleness, treachery, revenge, cruelty, impudence, that's another word for impoliteness, stealing, lying, profanity, debauchery, another word for wickedness, nastiness, and intemperance, another word for greed or gluttony, are said to have extinguished the principles of natural law and to have silenced the reproofs of conscience. They are strangers to every sentiment of compassion and are an awful example of the corruption of man when left to himself. So you can see the underlying reason why blacks are being killed. If you use the 5 why method, you will come up with the true cause of the issue, which will lead to a more sustainable solution. I am black. While the description of my physical features may be up for debate, my character is definitely not up for debate. I'm not a thief, neither am I a liar, a glutton, and I'm not greedy. I'm definitely not a criminal, so my life and those of other blacks should not be terminated based on assumptions or perceptions. As you know, law and order was used as a resolution approach in 1968. If it was an appropriate solution, we will not be having this discussion today. To engage law and order as the solution to this same problem that persisted for over 400 years does not appear to be the right approach. In fact, does it sound appropriate to use law and order to resolve the issue of perception? They did not steal, but they were perceived to be thieves. Let's assume they're ugly. Does law and order solve that perception? How about the issue of anomaly to the human race? Does law and order solve that problem? You can see why we cannot jump to resolve the symptom. We need to understand the root cause if we want to arrive at a sustainable solution. Using the same approach to solve the same problem, which gives the same unfavorable outcome, does not appear logical. We need to go deeper if we want a sustainable solution. Try the 5 whys or 7 whys or 10 whys in your small or large circles, in your cities, in your states, and various constituents. We can come to a sustainable outcome. I hope we can leave a good legacy of wisdom to the coming generations. I'll appreciate your feedback. Have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye-bye.